Most motorcycle CarPlay install videos are done on big adventure bikes. Wide handlebars, open cockpits, and lots of room to work with. But the BMW K1300S is a completely different story. The cockpit's tight, there's barely any clearance between the bars and the dash, and every mounting option available seems to put the display unit in a position that just doesn't work. I've been running motorcycle CarPlay systems on this bike for a few years now, and I built this mount specifically to solve that problem. It is a little battered now, but today I'm going to use this one as a template because I got a feeling Chigee's AIO-6 is going to be on it for a while. The first thing I tried was the optional quick release mount. Now it's a really nice idea. You can quickly remove the head unit when you park up and just stick it in your pocket, or you can use one unit between multiple bikes. And fair play to Chigee, because loads of people asked for this on the original model, and they've clearly listened. But once I got it onto the bike, I could see straight away that it just wasn't going to work. The cable's getting in the way and the whole thing's just too bulky. I need this setup to be as minimal and as sleek as possible. So I stripped it all back and mounted the unit directly to the crossbar. Now look, when I originally built this mount, it was for Chigee's AIO-5, which is a little bit smaller than this one, so the holes on the mount aren't quite lining up here. And I know I'm going to need to build a new one anyway, but for now, let's get this one drilled and see how it looks. Luckily for me, these bars have already got slots built into them, so it was just a case of running a few bolts through and tightening everything up. But if anyone's got any ideas on a sleeker attachment system, please let me know. Now the compromise with this is that it does obscure part of the dashboard, but I'm not too worried about that, because it only really blocks the lower part of the speedo, and this unit gives you a nice big speed display and more, which is much easier to see when riding anyway. Now moving on to the cameras, and honestly one of my biggest complaints, and this applies to pretty much all the motorcycle CarPlay products, is none of them properly integrate with standard action camera mounting systems. And I wish the manufacturers would solve this, because it'd give us so much more flexibility when positioning them on different bikes, instead of being limited to only using what comes in the box. And on my bike, this is a big issue. There's nowhere to really put it. On the rear it's fine, but on the front I need the ability to add extension arms to get the camera into a position that's both discreet and usable. Now you can see here exactly what I'm talking about. On the left hand side we've got the older AIO-5 mount, and on the right the newer AIO-6. And you can probably already see the problem. The 6 is way thicker than the 5. I originally filed down the 5 to make it fit inside this GoPro mount, and I'm lucky I've still got it, because there's just no way the 6 was ever going to fit inside of these slots. But once that was all fitted, you can see how much more flexibility that gives me, because now I can attach the camera to pretty much any action cam mounting system. And because I've already built this system onto the bike, fitting this new camera is really straightforward. It's just a case of slotting the camera into the existing GoPro mount and tightening everything up. And as you can see, that gives us a much cleaner, more discreet and central position. Thankfully, the rear of the bike is a lot easier. All you need to do is clean the area properly with an alcohol wipe. Feed the cable through the bodywork as neatly as you can. Warm up the supplied 3M adhesive, and then hold the camera firmly in place where you want it. And now onto the wiring. And this is usually the bit people find the most intimidating, but honestly, Chigee have kept this really simple. Basically, you've got power going to the battery, and then 2 connectors for the cameras, and then a live switch feed. Luckily my bike's already got one of them built in, but we'll get to that in a minute. Because what I didn't realise at the time was I was about to run into another problem with the power connector. Very similar to the issue I had with the quick release mount. And as you can see, the size and position of the connector is going to interfere with the handlebars, just above the ignition switch. So my only option for today is to drill a couple of new holes into the side of the mount so I can raise the height of that crossbar. And as you can see, the position's now even higher than I'd like it. Really, I want the unit sitting much lower and in line with that top yoke, so it looks and feels more integrated with the bike. But for today, that's going to have to do, because right now I just want to get everything wired in and make sure it's working properly. And what I love about this unit is there's no separate GPS module, because that's built into the head unit itself. And the blind spot detection's all handled through the cameras and the software. So apart from connecting it to the battery, all you really need is a live switch feed. So the unit turns on and off with the ignition and doesn't drain your battery. Now there's a few different ways of doing this, but luckily my bike's already got a built-in sat-nav connector. So it was really just a case of plugging into that and I was good to go. Now, if you want a much deeper dive into the cabling, wiring routes and how I tucked everything away, you can check out my previous CarPlay install videos. I'll link them in the description for you. This install was actually filmed back in November, just after Chigee sent me the unit, and I've been running it ever since. But before I give you my longer term opinion, and just out of curiosity, let's cut back to those very first ride impressions and see what I thought of it back then. First impressions on the Chigee is it is nice. I'm going to pull over in a bit and I'll show you some of the features on this. Got a tyre pressure warning at the moment, but it's probably because I've not set the parameters on it. So you can go in and you can set the value at what you want it to trigger at. So obviously my rear is spot on there. It's going to be 42 and it's showing 42. With my front a little bit low, it should be 36, it's showing 34. But so straight away, look, I'm wearing big thick Gore-Tex winter gloves and that screen, it's nice and responsive. As I said that, it didn't click. There we go. Rear camera view. What a lovely looking screen. What a lovely clarity on that camera. It's well beyond any other unit at the moment. I know a lot of people comment about the position of the screen covering the clocks. Now, for me, it's not a big issue. So as long as I can see my speed, and to be honest with you, that's a hell of a lot clearer than the speedo on the bike. I can see my fuel. I can see everything I need to see by moving my head when I need to see it. So for me, I'm not too bothered. Is there a better position for this? Maybe. I definitely don't want it on the stem, because then I'd have to look way far down here, and this bike's actually got an attachment down here onto the bag on the fuel tank where the the BMW sat-nav was traditionally going, and to have to look right down is no good. This is just a nice little glance up and a glance down to see your speeds. But what my favourite point of view is, if I can just find the button, there we go, I've pressed it too many times, is that lovely rear view camera. Now look at the quality of that screen. So this is nice. We've got speed, tyre pressures and that rear view. And as I've said before, having this view is worth it alone.
Ah, here we go. This is where I want it to be. In the lovely Delamere Forest now. Alright, so now I've pulled over, we can have a proper look. So first thing I want to address is that tyre pressure, because it's giving me a warning there. So I'm going to come into it, and LPA, HPA. So that's the high, and the low is that. So back, we want to set that. I mean, I don't even know what I should be setting that at, but 42, I'll set that at 45. And then low, if it goes below 40. So I'll see if that gets to 39. And then the fronts, oh, so that's the high, so that's wrong, isn't it? Yeah, so if the fronts go above 39. There we go, so that should have changed it. You can change your PSI to bar, and obviously Celsius to Fahrenheit. So if I go back now, that's stopped. So, home screen, tyre pressure sensors, you got your speed, you got your trip information, and I think if you press that, it gives you more. So you got your distance, your average speed, maximum speed, and your riding time. And I believe if you got your lean angles, these are just different views that you can have while you're riding. And I believe if you have the CRG unit, then it will display your revs, engine temperature, and more information. So I'm hoping that they send it out to me. They did send me out the OBD unit, and it's actually not compatible with this bike. So I'm going to test out the other unit, and hopefully we'll get that other information. So what's saying about the top? First button takes us to the home screen. Second button takes us to CarPlay or Android Auto. You got full access to all of your phone. Next button takes you to your cameras. And then the last button just switches. It doesn't switch off the unit, it just turns off the display if you ever want it off. So as you're back on. Now that's what I love about Chigee, is they have these buttons. So it's so easy now to just go between home, go between Android Auto, and go between your camera. Now I would say that with these thick gloves on, I was struggling a little bit to feel them, but over time I'll learn where that is with the muscle memory. Obviously without a glove, it's very easy to feel. Switch it off and on, back to the camera.
So that was 5 months ago now, and I've been running this thing every ride since. I've got a lot more to say about it, especially how it compares to the AIO-5 and a couple of its closest competitors. But I'll save that for another video. If you're fitting one of these systems to a sports tourer or any bike with a tight cockpit, drop a comment below. I'd love to hear how you're getting around the mounting issue yourself. There's also links and discount codes for Chigee products down in the description if you want to check them out. But that's it for now. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.